In a quiet village, surrounded by golden savanna grasslands and the gentle songs of birds, there once lived an old woman named Mama Njeri. She was kind, wise, and hardworking, but very poor. Her husband had died long ago, and she raised her two children, Achieng and Ogello, with nothing but love, sacrifices, and the food she could gather from her little garden. When the children grew older, they began to feel ashamed of their mother's poverty. While other youths wore fine clothes and lived in the town, their mother still wore a faded wrapper and walked barefoot. One evening, under the glowing sunset, they whispered to each other, "If we move to the city, we will live in wealth. Mama will only hold us back." And so, one morning before dawn, they packed their bags and left her behind without a word. The city dazzled them. Bright lights, music, and the promise of riches blinded their hearts. They worked, earned money, and dressed in fine garments. Soon, they forgot about the lonely woman in the village. Back in the village, Mama Njeri sat outside her mud hut each evening, watching the road with hope. She whispered, "Maybe today they will return." But the seasons passed. The rains came and went. The harvest moon glowed and faded, yet no footsteps of her children ever echoed on that dusty path. Years later, things began to change. The city that once welcomed Achieng and Ogello with riches grew harsh. Businesses failed, friends turned their backs, and hunger crept into their lives. They quarreled, and their pockets grew empty. One cold evening, Ogello sighed, "We have everything, yet nothing. Perhaps the curse of abandoning our mother has followed us." Achieng's eyes filled with tears. "I dream of her every night, sitting by the fire alone." They decided to return. Their journey was long, across rolling hills and wide rivers, past baobab trees that stood like ancient guardians. The land seemed to whisper to them, reminding them of the love they had betrayed. When they entered the village, children played under the acacia trees, women carried water pots on their heads, and men tilled the fields. But their eyes searched only for one face. They reached their mother's hut, now older, smaller, and weaker than before. Outside, under the shade of a mango tree, sat Mama Njeri. Her hair had turned as white as cotton, her hands thin, her clothes worn, yet her eyes still shone with the warmth of love. They fell to their knees before her. "Mama, forgive us. We abandoned you in your pain. We thought wealth mattered more than you. Forgive us." Tears ran down Mama Njeri's cheeks. She placed her trembling hands on their heads and said softly, "Children, a mother's heart never forgets, and it never stops forgiving. I waited for you every day. You are home." They wept together, their tears mixing with the red soil of their land. From that day on, Achieng and Ogello never left her side. They built her a stronger home, worked the land with her, and cared for her until her last days. The villagers would often tell their children this story under the moonlight, reminding them, wealth fades, friends disappear, but a mother's love is eternal. To abandon her is to abandon your own soul. And so the tale of Mama Njeri lived on, carried by the winds of Africa, over the hills, through the rivers, and beneath the stars. Never abandon the hands that raised you. Riches may fade, but the blessings of a mother remain forever.